Hi, welcome to Drover Talk. I'm your host, Matthew Yokum, along with Amelia Brittingham and Trey Edwards. Today's show is going to be talking about stress and how we deal with stress. As college students, we're under a lot of stress, so I thought it'd be an interesting topic to figure out how we deal with it, what causes it, and what you can do to better yourself and get away from that stress. So, I guess let's make it easy for ourselves. Let's talk about what stresses us out. Like, as college students, as I know you're an athlete, as you know, whatever you are, whatever you got a job or like whatever major you are, we all go under some level of stress. So, what type of things stress you out?
All right. Well, I'm a communications major, freshman year, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's not really communication classes that are stressing me out. It's usually other classes. And I just have a lot of social anxiety sometimes as well. And those are kind of like the two main things that really get me.
Yeah, that really add to your stress. And I get that one because I was going to give an example beforehand of my stress. My stress would definitely be classes. Like, there's little things that will stress me out here and there, but those like eventually go away. But it seems like classes, there's always like something I'm forgetting or something, stressing me out about those. Trey, what about you?
For me, as far as school, only time I really get stressed with school is maybe like when I get overwhelmed with work. Like nowadays, it's actually pretty cool. I don't really get overwhelmed like that because I learn to like get ahead in class and stuff like that. But back in my like freshman, sophomore years, like I used to procrastinate a lot. So like it used to stress me out when I have to have 2, 3 essays to do all in one day, pretty much all due at 11:59. And then for basketball could be stressful a lot, like stuff not going your way, stuff you can't control. That's really the biggest one for me is when you can't control it. Like you feel like you're putting in a lot of work, doing what you need to do, but it's just not working out for you. So for me, I would say basketball is a little bit more stressful for me than school now. School is kind of a breeze now.
Yeah,
So
I could understand that. I feel like basketball is definitely like you're always stressed about something, whether it's like the next game coming up or maybe you had like a bad practice the day before. Like, I guess sports in general are kind of stressful, but I mean, to me also, sports are kind of a good way to get out that stress, like being active, doing something.
that's a great way to get out of stress. Like when school is putting me through like rough times, or say I'm going through family stuff or girlfriend problems, which I don't have a girlfriend, but just speaking in general. But anything, like I can go to the gym, I'll go late at night, stay in there from 12, leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, just go in there, listen to music, vibe out. So basketball is a way that I can get out of a lot of my problems though too. So yeah.
It kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like a situation in your life where you felt so overwhelmed you just didn't know what to do, just like so stressed out, it's like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it to tomorrow type?
Oh, definitely. I suffer from panic attacks a lot, actually. So that's usually like hyperventilating, feeling like I can't do anything. I just have to sit there and let it pass through. I mean, that's happened a little bit recently with finals and stuff like that. But for me, it's just kind of take care of yourself this day and you'll figure it out tomorrow. I mean, like I know it sucks right now, but I will get through it and I will get to the next thing. Everything will happen when it happens.
It's one step at a time.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
I would say maybe one of my most stressful times was probably during like COVID. Like I was staying by myself at the time, and of course bills and stuff, they start racking up. But at the time, like it was hard to find a job. And then I'm young at the time too. I was probably maybe like 19, 20, still trying to get back into school. So like that was probably one of my worst times. Like I used to have to depend on Uber and DoorDash, and that's a hit or miss a lot of the time. So some days you might not get bill money or something like that. So that was probably one of my most stressful times, like
ever. Yeah.
Like ever.
No, I
like
get that.
it was pretty bad.
COVID, like itself, just like every time I think back to COVID and kind of just like that, I don't know, like year and a half long, like freak out about it. I feel like there were so many things that people were stressed out about, and whether it is like work and a job or just paying bills and stuff, or getting sick or whatever, like a lot of political stuff going on around the same time, like there was a lot of things people were stressing about, and I feel like since then people have just been constantly stressed, like a different type of stress, like.
Yeah, like I was like super overwhelmed during that time. Like I said, I was young, so I had lost basketball for a little bit. So like, I'm not trying to grow up too fast at the same time. So I'm like stuck. Like, do I want to get a job, start my life now, or do I want to keep trying to pursue school? And I couldn't make up my mind. So like, I was like overwhelmed with it. But to deal with the stress, I actually just kept pushing through. Of course, keep God first. Pray about it. That's probably one of my ways that I get through it, is just praying about it, just going through it. Like, I feel like as a man, you can't really just get down on your knees, cry, and express feelings and stuff like that. I feel like you just gotta tough it out.
Yeah. Figure your way out of like that situation. No, I get that.
During like that COVID time was right after, it was when I started my junior year, and so like you had all those state tests and the ACT and the SAT, and that was stressing me out. Those really when it got the worst, I would say. And what helped me was just knowing that I had a support system. I had family and I had friends that would help me, and knowing that it's okay to rely on them sometimes, because they will help me get through those things as well. I don't have to do it all alone.
I think what's unique about like this small group of people is that like when COVID happened, we were all like pretty young, but we were all like in that stage of like needing to know what to do next. And I think COVID was like such like an up in the air thing. People didn't know what to do about that. They thought it'd be lasting forever. Like everybody was gonna die or something, get sick, whatever it is. It was like an unknown time, and for most people, like into your junior year, I think that was like my junior year too. You're 19, you're 20, you're trying to figure yourself out. Like we dealt with that at a rough time because we're trying to figure out what we want to do after high school. You're already out of high school and can't figure out exactly what you want to do because there's no jobs. Like you don't know if you want to go to school. Like for us, that's a really like hard time for something drastic like that to happen. Like that put us under a lot of stress, I feel like. I got these numbers from this survey I looked at earlier. I want y'all to hear it. So it's a survey from 2018 from the American Psychological Association. It showed that Gen Z, which is us, it's like, I think it's the late 90s to the mid 2000s is Gen Z, something like that. But Gen Z had the lowest percentage of people saying they had excellent or very good mental health. And that's a crazy, I'm going to say the exact numbers, but that's already crazy enough. But boomers, they had a 70% saying they had excellent or good health. Mental health, sorry. Gen X had 51%, millennials had 56%, and Gen Z had a staggering 45% saying they had very good or excellent mental health. Do you think, now this is in 2018 before COVID, why do you think these numbers were so low? And do you think like these numbers might have lowered after COVID and all that stress and all that stuff that we just talked about?
I think for a lot of it, it's that the older generations have their place in life. They have their house and their job and their family and all of that kind of thing. So they're automatically going to be under less stress than people in their teens, 20s, and 30s still trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. But I do think that COVID, and as the years go on, those numbers have probably lowered, shifted a little bit. And that's kind of where I am on it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same with her. I mean, of course, COVID was, like you said, stressful time, so the numbers definitely dropped down. Like I said, for people that was out of high school, it was kind of hard to figure out life, like, what am I gonna do? Like, I think at the time, only jobs that was really like able, like just open was like warehouse type of jobs, and places like Amazon was, it's like a hit or miss with that too. Like you can get hired, but you can get fired the next day, like just because like oh, we got too many people here today, we gotta lay you off type stuff.
Yeah.
So like, that could mess with your mental too. So yeah, I feel like it definitely dropped.
This kind of goes along with the before COVID thing, but this is really just in the past in general. But do you think like people are more stressed nowadays than they used to be? And if you want to think like specifically our age, you can, but even as like a general, I think people might be more stressed than they used to be. Just through the use of like technology, social media, you see a bunch of stuff and think, oh man, maybe I'm not that. And you kind of get stressed out or anxious, maybe you won't get there.
Yeah, I feel like that probably is another reason. Social media is a big like reason why stress is like the way it is now. Oh, people before us, they didn't have the social media we had, so like they really wasn't like, let me say, like comparing themselves to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like us with social media is like we own it every single day. I wouldn't say I compare myself to people, but like, you know, some people that do compare people, like people that look up to celebrities and stuff, and I just feel like we shouldn't compare ourselves to people like that. Like, it's like one of my coaches told me, comparison is the thief of all joy. I stand on that too. Like, I used to be like that back in the day. Like, I used to look up to, let me say, one of my favorite rappers or something like that. But like, I learned that I got to start going at my own pace. Like, stuff happens at different times for different people, so I just learned to not like let it kill me type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
think about what's like in front of you, not what's ahead.
Yeah, I just go with the flow now. Like, I don't try to think ahead. I don't try to think about the past like that no more. I just try to stay right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the CDC website, what's the abbreviation for CDC? I didn't write that down.
Center for Disease Control.
Thank you. On their website, they list a few different ways of dealing with stress, and I think it's good to shift the conversation that way now that we've talked about all the stress that we deal with and kind of how overwhelming it seems sometimes. But they have some ways of dealing with stress, such as disconnecting from technology, taking care of your body, eating right, exercise regularly, get plenty of sleep, and making time for yourself. Do you think that these are good ways to deal with stress, and do you do any of these things yourself?
I would fully agree. All of those things are good. It's good to get away from just the internet, technology in general, and kind of focus back into the world, the space that you're in right now, as well as making time to take care of yourself, whether that's making sure you're eating food that's good for you or personal hygiene and stuff like that. And for me as well, like in high school, I started going to therapy because my anxiety was so bad. And that definitely helped me learn some coping skills as well, like, breathing techniques, being able to process those feelings that are hard to go through. And it's just helped me become better.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, yeah, I think not weights, but working out definitely helped me with mine. Like, one thing that I do lack though is sleeping. I don't feel like I get enough sleep. Like, especially while I'm at school. Like, normal time is probably 2:00. Like, I do need to work on sleeping, but stuff that I do good, I feel like I work out, play the game. Like, I do stuff like that to keep me stress free. Like, I just try to take my mind off of a lot of stuff.
Just try and take it easy, kind of.
Just take it easy, yeah.
I get that. And you mentioned therapy, and I appreciate that a lot because I think therapy is a really good form of dealing with that stress. Like, I think a lot of people are thinking therapy is for more than what it is. Like, you have to have some big issue to need to go to therapy. But it's really as simple as, I'm just feeling stressed out and need somebody to talk to.
Yeah, that's how I'm going right now. I'm way too overwhelmed right now, and I'm trying to look for a therapist again.
Yeah.
And it's just really good to have that resource. I've been in therapy before, so I know some of those techniques, but it's just, sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. And the great thing about therapists is you pay them to just talk to you. So
Yeah.
if they don't talk to you how you want to be talked to, you ain't got to go back.
Yeah,
That's so true.
I feel like I struggle with talking to people though. Like with
Yeah.
me, when I do go through stuff, I bottle everything in before I even like. Something would have to like really make me like mad to make me like just let it all out. But other than that, like I don't talk to nobody about it. I don't try to get sad about it. Like I just bottle everything up. Like, but I feel like that be hurting me too sometimes. Like I do be wanting to talk to people, but it's who can you talk to? That's how I look
Yeah.
at it. Like, of course I got my mom, but sometimes you don't really want to talk to your
mom about some of the
some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. Maybe I feel like I need to do a therapist sometimes too.
No,
like,
I mean,
like
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't see why nobody or anybody shouldn't try it, you know, if you're ever like having the thought. Because, I mean, I've never, okay, now this sounds bad because I've never been to therapy, but I know a lot of people who have been to therapy, and they say, like, even after the first, like, couple sessions, you don't feel, like, awkward anymore, like, around them. You're able to be as open as you want. And I think that can kind of help when you're going through some stuff like that. Because I'm kind of the same way, like, just kind of bottle it all in, don't try and talk about it too much to, like, too many people. Just kind of like get it out yourself.
Yeah, like I feel like if you was to try to express yourself to certain people, like as soon as y'all get in like a heated argument or something like that, they could use it against you. Like
yeah,
I never been the type to just let it out to people. Like
yeah.
I would want to, like I like to talk for real. Like people think I'm quiet, which I am quiet a lot of the times, but I do like to talk, especially if it's something that I feel like I need to get off my chest. Like for example, basketball. If I could talk about my problems with basketball to people like that actually understand though, like I feel like it'll make me feel a lot better. Like I don't feel like I need a therapist, but just somebody that, let's say, been through what I've been through type stuff. Like,
Yeah, just like some guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So how, I guess I kind of asked this already, but if you had advice, maybe let's not ask how you deal with your stress because we've gone over that. But if you had advice to give to people who's dealing with a bunch of stress, whether that's like, I don't know, family problems, school problems, car problems, job problems, like whatever, what would you like give to? What advice would you give them to like get started relieving that stress?
I mean, of course, I would say if you can find somebody to talk to them about it. Like I said, I'm big on like praying and stuff like that. So like even if I don't have nobody to talk to, I feel like I can talk to God about it. Like I feel like I can say what I want and not feel like I'm getting judged or anything like that. So like me getting older, I feel like praying is probably the only thing that I have been doing lately. Like that's all I can do. A lot of people really don't understand where you coming from a lot of the time. So
and sometimes like I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like when you're praying like that or like meditating or something, that's like a really good time to just talk to yourself, and you ain't even like gotta talk out loud. Like you can, but it's just like getting out your full thoughts and like coming to terms with that and accepting that. And for me, like I'm kind of with you. I don't like always pray necessarily, but I will like meditate on stuff and really think about like what I'm going through, and maybe not like, oh man, what am I gonna do, but how can we fix this, or how can I do better? You know what I mean?
yeah, like for me, when I do pray type stuff, I don't really just go to like complain or anything. Like I just go be like, thank you for these lessons, or thank you for these ups and downs and stuff like that. Like I don't really try to make it too negative. Like
Yeah.
I ask for just strength. Like I know you're gonna get me through it. Like that's all. I just ask for like stuff like that. Like just help me get through it. Just let me go day by day. Like.
Yeah, my advice would just be to take a breath and just let yourself reset and know you're going to get through this. If you feel like you don't have somebody to talk to, you can always write things down, like journaling of some sort can be very helpful, or even just finding other calming practices like coloring or yoga and stuff like that. I think those are really helpful ways for you to just do something immediately.
And to bounce off what she said, like outside of praying and stuff like that, like the only time I maybe do use social media sometimes is when I do want to express myself. Like, like for example, like I'll make like a spam page or something like that with limited followers or something like that, and I just say what I want to say.
Where
like,
you really feel like you can be yourself. It's
yeah,
not like
I don't feel like I'm gonna get judged, or I don't have to feel like people just watching me type. Like I can just post what I post. Half the time they might not even see it, but I feel like I got it off my chest though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to have to do this, but we got to end the podcast. We're gone over the time limit. But we appreciate everybody watching in, and we hope you enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.